Imagine being a teenager and receiving cruel, vulgar messages nonstop for 2 years straight from an unknown number that just won't leave you alone. That's the nightmare at the center of Netflix's new documentary, Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. Spoilers ahead. This story centers Lauren and Owen, a high school couple known as the Golden Couple. One day they start getting text messages from a random phone number, messages trying to break them up, calling them names, talking as if they're in close proximity and watching them. They would know what was happening in conversations, in school. They would know when someone would travel. They knew everything involving basically everyone at the school. And that's when this situation quickly became one big web with so many different people entangled in it. Let's get into some of the students who were interviewed. First, we're going to start off with Lauren. Lauren is soft-spoken, loves sports, and known as staying to herself. She started to share some of the text messages she was getting, and they were heartbreaking. In the documentary, actually shared the real text messages that she was receiving. She would cry in the mornings and try to stay home from school, and the constant messages ended up playing a huge part in her and Owen breaking up, as Lauren started to have doubts about Owen and if he was being faithful, so that really affected them. Owen also shared his perspective and how bad it affected his mental health. Sometime after him and Lauren broke up, he even started to date another girl who lived in another area. And the catfish was able to find that out, get the girl's mom's phone number, and started messaging and harassing them. So Owen and the girl broke up not too long after. So he grew very angry. It came out in basketball. He felt like he was trapped and couldn't move on in life. Another student named Chloe was interviewed who was close to Owen, but not Lauren. Chloe was one of the main suspects. Owen and Lauren heavily thought it was Chloe because apparently she had a crush on Owen and her and Lauren never got along. It ended up not being Chloe, but I have to say, when Adriana, who is Owen's cousin, was interviewed and said Chloe and her friends bullied her, threw carrots at her, with tears in her eyes, I believe her 100%. I think Chloe has bullied people before. I think she bullied Adriana, which is horrible. And I hope watching this back, she can see how damaging this can be to people. And I hope she changes. There were times it looked like it could be Chloe, like one instance when Lauren got a text saying, I got so-and-so amount of points and you got 0 at the basketball game. And through research, the only person that scored that amount was Chloe. So it seemed like it was her. The person would also send pictures of Chloe and Owen, which was very odd. Then some of the parents got interviewed, and once I saw how much some of the parents started to get involved, I did start to think it might be a parent. I get protecting your child, but some would take it a little overboard. I think Owen's mom took his phone at one point and would text people as if it was him, just a lot. But I like that they interviewed the parents because we could see how much they were affected too, and how much time away from work and sleepless nights they experienced as well. Families were being torn apart by this one person. They were ruining everything. The school and the police handled this completely wrong. I believe the principal told Lauren to let him know when she would get a text in school, and he would look at the school cameras and see who was texting. What? Everyone's going to be texting. That was just a really silly idea, and that got them nowhere. What did get them somewhere was when the FBI got involved. Agent Bradley Peter was the one who really got the ball rolling. He was the one who finally was able to solve the case, and this is how he did it. He first identified that the messages were being sent from a phone number disguising app. A subpoena to the app company revealed records that linked messages to a U.S. company, Verizon. So with a search warrant to Verizon, Peter's investigation traced the text messages to an IP address associated with one phone number, which repeatedly showed up in the records. This phone number was registered to Kendra Lakari, Lauren's mother. What a reveal. My jaw was on the floor. And I'll get to my thoughts on this a little later, but let's get into the aftermath of this reveal. The police got a search warrant to seize Kendra's electronic devices, and when they arrived, she handed her phone over. This was all captured by body cam footage. They let her know she was busted, and she proceeded to say that it didn't start off as her, it was somebody else. They brought Lauren in the house and told her it was her mom, and Kendra immediately grabbed onto Lauren and hugged her really tight, which was pure manipulation. You're a teenager getting all of this confusing, hurtful info about your mom, and she tried to control the situation by hugging you so you don't have space to react, and that was very irritating to watch. It's been all over social media that Lauren didn't have much of a reaction, but really look at this moment. Her mom took that away from her. Then Dad gets home and the police officer tells him it's Kendra, and they also throw in there that she quit her job, and the husband's like, wait, she told me she was let go. So he storms in the house. He's upset. And he's so upset about the employment lie, he starts off with that. Then he gets into the stalking thing, and Kendra lets him know she hasn't been working for a while. And her own cousin came out and said she probably never even had the job. Her husband was also the one that told the police that she had another phone, which was very helpful in the case because if they wouldn't have found that, they probably wouldn't have the proof. I think a lot of people overlooked that. That was a big piece to this, even though she did confess. I've seen people on social media saying, how did he not know she was working? And it sounds very crazy, but some people, especially men, a lot of times when the wife is handling all the finances and things, it's easy for the husband to be out of the loop. So I could see why he had no idea, especially if she was getting up every day pretending to work. He did notice the financial struggle, so that's when I think he really should have noticed, but he didn't. But this moment ended with him calling Kendra's parents and kicking her out of the house, and I love to see that. So what happened to Kendra after that? Well, in 2022, she was arrested and charged with multiple counts of stalking and sentenced to 19 months to 5 years, and only ended up doing about 2 years. Through that time, her and Lauren communicated regularly, and Lauren stated she wanted to be back in her mom's life, feeling like she didn't know who she was without her mom. But after Kendra was released, Lauren's perspective seemed to shift, and she started to really process the complexity of her mother's actions and stated she hasn't seen her mom since she's been released, and I was so happy to hear that and so relieved. Like I mentioned earlier, Kendra suffocated this girl in hopes of not even giving her space to process. So I'm glad that now Lauren can sit with her own emotions and heal. What was so bizarre to me was the fact that Kendra decided to be a part of the documentary. They must have paid her a pretty penny because that is crazy. But again, I think it was another opportunity she saw to be able to control the narrative a little bit. So she took it. What I really struggle with is how little remorse she shows. Harassing your own daughter, sending nasty messages, targeting her insecurities she privately shared with you, telling her to take her own life, and when asked about it, to passively say, I know she wouldn't take her own life because I know her better than everyone. It's the complete lack of accountability. I was waiting for her to just apologize profusely, but instead, she more so deflected and said she was only trying to protect her daughter. How someone can do that to their own child is disgusting and something I will never understand. My heart really goes out to Lauren, and I couldn't imagine dealing with this level of betrayal and heartbreak, and I hope she has all the support she needs in the years coming while she continues to process this. And in case you're wondering, Lauren currently lives with her father in Michigan. They have deepened their relationship, so I'm really glad she's with him. One final note, I thought it was very distasteful for Chloe's parents at the end to accuse Lauren and her father of being in on what Kendra did. That was so unnecessary and was very mean. At its core, Unknown Number isn't just about the catfish situation. It's about the vulnerability of teenagers in a digital-first world. It explores trust, peer pressure, and how quickly manipulation can spread. It also raises bigger questions about online safety and whether schools and parents are truly prepared for how sophisticated catfishing has become. Overall, this was devastating, shocking, and just really sad, but I'm glad this is being brought to light. It was a well-written documentary, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Let me know if you were able to figure out who it was before it was revealed and your overall thoughts on the documentary. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of the film. My name is Kamara. Thanks for watching another episode of Screen Diaries. See you on my next video. Bye.